So, for all of you that didn't join us last Saturday, we did a live stream. It was our first ever live stream. Went pretty well.
It went pretty well.
Someone in it was like, I'm going to have to stop watching the live stream now. I'm going to go have a baby. So, if that was you, please send us a photo of your baby on Twitter so that we can, like...
See the baby.
Yeah, I want to see the baby that was had during our live stream. That would be pretty cool. Also, I hope you called it Lenny Hodger. I really hope you did. Like, just like... I was just watching a live stream. I'm going to call this Lenny.
Oh, dear.
God, I hope that's the thing.
We're going to handpick what we class as the best questions from the live stream, and we're going to elaborate on them more. How do I replicate live the multi-layered and highly processed thing that I have created in the studio? In the live stream, I believe we said, don't create something in the studio that you're not going to be able to live up to live. And I stand by that. I don't think your recordings should sound overly better than your live performance. I think if someone's going to see you live, they should have the full experience. And if that means toning down your professional recordings, then that's what I think you should do.
Yeah, maybe the outlook on this is the wrong way around. Rather than going like, right, let's go in the studio and let's make the best product ever, and then live, let's try and replicate those songs, which is how pretty much everyone views it. Maybe we should start thinking about it the other way around. Maybe do it more the traditional way, which is you get in a room and you write songs live. You write songs without any intention of recording them. And then you just record them the exact way that you'd just play them if you were playing them live. Maybe that's a better way to look at things, to give an accurate representation of you as a band.
Yeah, like a lot of when we were in our old band, we would almost write live for the studio. Like we'd be writing guitar parts and we'd think, oh, here's another guitar part that we can't add in. We'll just put it in the studio and we'll do that. Like we did that like multiple times, so we ended up having like 4 different guitar parts going off at once when really we could only do 2 live. So that was a mistake.
It will effectively make your studio product worse. Not necessarily worse, but less how you actually want it. If you want to add in 6 extra guitar things, us telling you not to do that will, in your eyes, make your song sound worse. Because they want to add in the 6 extra guitar tracks. So, it's probably a sacrifice worth making. It's just something worth thinking about. Do I need to put all of these extra guitar things in?
You need to be asking the question, are people going to be disappointed seeing me live after hearing the recordings? And if the answer is yes, because you can't replicate all your guitar tracks or all your synths, whatever, then I would suggest toning it down in your recording. It's much easier to get your live sound and perfect it in the studio than it is to get your studio sound and perfect it live.
Another question that we got was something along the lines of, what's our opinion of the industry as it is, with it being super over-processed and like there's loads of tracks in every single song, and it's not like pure music. What's our opinion of that?
I don't know. I don't think it's a problem, to be honest, because I think if you have the methods there to create the sound that you want, then you should do it.
I think the reason why we've got here in the industry where we are, with it being really, I guess, over-processed or whatever, is because we've gradually, over the past, half a century, we've gradually been working towards what we've wanted with the sounds. In the 80s when synths came in, late 70s when synths started coming in, all through the 80s they were experimented with and the thing. I think we're now at a stage where we've kind of nailed the synth. We've got so many different sounds and cool things that we can do with synthesizers that were never done in like the 80s. I think everything has been working towards what's the perfect thing to do with this thing. And I think the production of tracks has now reached its peak as well. Tracks are getting produced as well as they're probably ever going to get produced. That has then led to overproduction on some stuff, taking it a little bit too far with some stuff. I don't know if it's a problem, and I personally don't find it a problem. If I don't like a song that's overproduced, I just won't listen to the song.
I think, especially with like small bands who maybe have access to a big studio like us when we were in college, the overprocessing did ruin us a little bit.
Yeah,
because especially on vocals.
Yeah, I think we learnt the methods, and then we put them into practice without mastering any of the methods.
Yeah, or without considering if we really needed to do it as much as we did.
So, like on our last band's songs, when we did them in the studio and stuff, we'd add a lot of guitar tracks in, as we mentioned, and we'd produce them a lot. Like, there'd be a load of EQ stuff going on. It'd be really over compressed, and then there'd be a whack limiter at the end of everything, like super brick wall in it, and that made the sound worse. Doing that when you really know what you're doing, when you really know what you should be EQing, and when you know when to not compress or when to stop compressing, we could have had a completely different product if we'd have really known what we were doing, but we didn't. So we ended up with a really over-processed product because we didn't know it was really over-processed. We just thought that was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So that's another problem. Not only are people pushing it too far just because, I don't know, I guess that's where the industry's gone. There's a lot of people that don't really know what they're doing. And this technology is really easy to come by now.
Yeah, so they feel they have to add... Like, if you get, 50 plugins, you're going to want to use them all if you're inexperienced. You're going to think, oh, what does that one do? Let's try that.
And then if it sounds kind of cool, you are going to use it in whatever song you're currently working on. Even though it might not be the best idea. Yeah,
you really need to decide what it is your song needs and what it doesn't need. And anything it doesn't need, get rid of. We got a question that was something like, I record in a 20 metre by 20 metre, or was it 20 foot by 20 foot studio. What acoustic treatment should I use, if any?
So, we recommended, you can get foam, acoustic foam from I imagine Amazon sell it, eBay, that kind of thing. Your local Hard West or whatever. You can treat. We recommend that when you're treating a wall, if you treat one part of a wall, the bit directly opposite it doesn't need treating anymore, and that's because the idea of treatment isn't to soundproof or anything. The idea of treatment is to stop reflective surfaces. So if I clap now, you'll hear a little reverb after it. That little at the end, that is essentially what you're trying to stop. You want that room noise, as it's called, to disappear. The way you do that is to stop sound bouncing, and to stop it, you foam up one wall. If you foam up one wall, it'll bounce off that wall, but when it comes back, it'll just get absorbed and won't bounce again. You can obviously foam up the entire thing. That's what vocal booths are like, and it's a completely dead sound. The idea would be to add reverb on afterwards so that you can tailor it to exactly what you want. That's the theory behind it. I'd also say it might not be actually worth doing.
No, we don't use it at all.
Ever. Every single track that we've done for Music Lab hasn't had a single bit of treatment on it. No recording of guitars, bass, vocals, anything. Never had any treatment. All the things that we were taught when we were at college about treatment and stuff, and all the things that it prevents, all of those problems that we were taught that it prevents have never actually been a problem for us.
I imagine our college lecturers would have a go at us if they saw what we were doing now, but for us, it doesn't really matter.
The end product that we're getting is just as good, with or without it. Because I've had problems, and I do have problems with previous mixes of songs that we've released. I don't really like how the kick drum sounds on the newest song that we released. But none of the problems have come from us recording in a room without any treatment on it. If you want acoustic treatment, do it. I don't care. If you don't, or you don't really think it's necessary, do a test record some vocals or whatever it is that you're recording in your room that you plan on doing. If the reverb in the room is super bad, get it treated. If you don't think it really affects the vocal.
Yeah, there are some, if you're in a really reverby room, then there are some really basic things you can do, like you can stand two mattresses up next to each other and sing into that, or just duvets or anything.
And that is it. That is all the questions that we could think from our minds that happened in the live stream, because guess what? YouTube doesn't save the live comments. So after the live stream happened, all the comments that happened throughout the live stream, gone, forever, deleted. So I had to think them up from our minds. That being said, if you were there for the live stream, did you enjoy it?
Do you want us to do anything differently? Do you want us to do it for longer? Do you want us to add anything else in? Do you want to be featured on it in a Skype call-in?
Yeah, if you've got anything interesting to say, or you've got anything that you think people will be interested in, let us know. Maybe we'll Skype you in and actually have you a part of the live stream. We'll also definitely, I promise, do the live reviews in the next live stream. Everything is ready for them. They will happen next live stream. If you want to send us anything to be reviewed live by us, send it to this email. The lines will be open as long as we have it until that live stream itself. America, you voted Trump in. We've shot this outro about 4 times.
Good job with that. Good luck.
Yeah, we talked about Trump a lot. Just be careful, alright? I feel like a protective parent, but there's a creepy man outside and he wants to grab you by the butt.